Good morning, or whatever time you may be listening to this Sikha. We're going to be learning the second Sikha in Vayakhel, in Chelek Yadalef. It's a Sikha where the Rabbi discusses Bezalel's involvement in building the Mishkan, specifically B'negeya to the Aron, the language of Rashi and the Pasuk regarding Bezalel's involvement in making the Aron, and also his general Mesiras Nefesh for building the Mishkan, as we'll see towards the end of the Sikha. Ala pasuk vayas Bezalel es ha'aron v'gomer. So the Torah tells us that Bezalel built the Aron. Mefarish Rashi vayas Bezalel. What's the meaning of vayas Bezalel? L'fisha nosa nafshi ala malacha, because he dedicated himself to the work of the Aron. Yosem mishar chachamim, more than the other chachamim that were involved in building the Mishkan. Mikras al shmai. The building of the Aron, the Torah says, he is the one that built it because of his special dedication to the work of the Oster. Move on. So now it's understood. Shekavonas Rashi b'pirish zeh. What is Rashi coming to explain here? Liyashiv shayla pshuta mesereres ba'tevis v'avayas Bezalel. There's a simple question that comes up when you see these words vayas Bezalel. Ma nishtana asiyas Aron. What is different with the Aron? Shedafke ba pirish hakosov shasa Bezalel. Specifically here, the Torah says, Bezalel made the Aron. The loy keshar klei Mishkan, unlike any other kelim of the Mishkan, shebehem nemar vayas stam. There it doesn't identify who it was that built any specific part of the Mishkan or the kelim of the Mishkan. Only here by the Aron does it say vayas Bezalel. It's Rashi, so therefore Rashi answers, because he gave himself over to the work of building the Aron more than the other Chachamim. Nikras Hashemai. So therefore the Torah says Vayas Bezalel. That's the simple pshat of this Rashi. However, there's the following difficulty with Rashi here. Haloi move on. It's obviously understood. There were many people that were talented, that had the wisdom to build the different parts of the Mishkan, and they all participated in building the Mishkan. But it's impossible. Every individual should have a part in every single part of the Mishkan. It's not physically possible. Obviously, the jobs were divided amongst the different people. Ella, rather, shekol echad mehem asa chelkai b'meleches hakodesh ala mishkan bechad hapratim shaloi. Everybody did their work in their area that was given to them, and that's what he did. If so, halo yesh lefarish es hakosav vayas Bezalel kepshutai. So why would Rashi not want to interpret the pshat of vayas Bezalel literally? Asher Bezalel atzmai v'hu levadoi asa es ha'aron. The keli of the Mishkan that Bezalel made, and only he alone made this keli, was the Aron. And when the Torah writes Vayas Bezalel, the Torah is specifically telling me this keli Bezalel made alone, and no one else helped him with it. Why not type the words of the pasuk in this simple pshat? And that's not what Rashi is saying. Rashi is saying there were many people that may have participated in making the Aron, but Bezalel dedicated himself to the work of the Aron, and therefore it's Nikras al Shmai, his name. The Torah puts his name on the work of the Aron. Why not say literally? Bezalel was the only one that physically did the labor of building the Aron without anybody else participating. Although it's obvious, Shebevadai Hishtatev Bezalel, Bezalel definitely participated in the work of the rest of the Mishkan, not only with the Aron. Shahaya Rosh B'chol Chachmei Lev. He was the leader of all of the wise men that were working. The pasuk clearly says lases, that he did work with all of the meleches machshavas necessary, and he guided them in everything. So he definitely worked, or at least gave instructions with all of the kelim of the Mishkan, and not with the Aron alone. However, there's a difference. The Aron was the only keli of the Mishkan that he built it completely alone. Or we could say a bit differently. Perhaps we could say that he participated in building many of the kelim of the Mishkan, But this was the only one that he did it exclusively by himself without getting the help of anybody else. And what would be the reason why specifically the Aron is the Keli that Betzalel built completely alone? So it's simply understood. The Aron is the most important and holiest vessel of all the Kelim built in the Mishkan. So therefore Betzalel, which was the leader of all the Chachmei Lev doing the work, building the Mishkan, so he built the Aron. He was the most wisest amongst all of them that built the Kelim, and therefore he's the one that built the Aron. So that's simply understood. The Rebbe in the Aron points out that it's possible that other Kelim were also built individually by any other Chacham Lev alone, that was their area, that they built that Keli or that section of the Mishkan. But the Torah doesn't point it out, and the Rebbe gives various reasons for it. We understand that Betzalel was the most important individual, the leader of the entire job of putting together everything and building the Mishkan. So therefore, when it comes to this Keli, the holiest of all the Kelim, and Betzalel, which was the leader, so here the Torah points out that this is the Keli that Betzalel built alone. That would be the simple pshat. Okay, the difficulty here is, what is it that forced Rashi to take the pasuk out of the simple pshat, Vayaz Betzalel Hainesha Asoi Mamish, that he literally built the Mishkan, the Aron that is, Ulefarish Shahamalacha Rak Nekras Al Shmoi, that although others participated as well, but it's only called on his name, Lefisha Nasa Nafsha Ala Malacha, because of his dedication in building the Aron. That's the basic question on this Rashi. Gam Tzarech Lahavin. The other question here is, Mekivan Shakasav Oimer Vayas Betzalel. The expression used in the pasuk is Vayas, that Betzalel made the Aron. Why doesn't Rashi use the same expression of the pasuk? He dedicated himself to the asiyah, to making the Aron. Why does Rashi change and use the term malacha, meaning the work of the Aron? So the Rebbe continues and gives us here an introduction. We got to go back to Parshas Truma to see what the Torah says there about the Aron. And then we'll come back and see why Rashi had to say what he said over here in Parshas Vayakhel, when the Torah repeats the story of the building of the Mishkan a second time. Yuvan calls Ebehektim, Asher Kosev Rashi beParshas Truma, Benegei lekapayres ha'Aron. So let's see what Rashi says in Parshas Truma regarding the kapayres on the Aron, and this is what Rashi says. Va'ava Fishel enosan shir la'oivya. Even though in the pasuk there's no size measurement given to the thickness of this cover on the Aron, the kapayres, Pirishu Rabbi Seinu, Chazal tell us shaya oivya tefach, that it was thicker tefach. Seemingly, Ma'u atam sherashi mashmiyenu bepirish pshute shel mikra hanal shir oivya kapayres. Why does Rashi find it necessary when he comes to tell you the dimensions and the details about the Aron, the thickness of the kapayres? There's no oivi given, the thickness of the material or the wood or the gold that was used by the other kelim is also not said. And there Rashi doesn't tell us what the thickness is. Over here, Rashi tells us what's the reason. Seemingly there's no clear proof from the pshat of the pasuk for this thickness of a tefach, and Rashi is just bringing it in the name of Chazal. So why does Rashi quote this? So we can say Rashi here is coming to explain b'derech hagav. As a side point, one of the points that Rashi is coming to explain is Lo mashina akosov b'loshen atzivoy da'asiyas Aron. Why does the Torah use a different expression when it comes to building the Aron that's not used by the other kelim? What does it say here? V'asu loshen rabim. It uses a plural term, and you and they shall make the Aron. Atze shitim v'gaimer. The loy katzivuyim da'asiyas shara kelim v'abgodim shenema ben v'asisa. The language the pasuk always uses regarding all the kelim, all the mishkan, and all the begodim is always v'asisa, a singular term. When it comes to the Aron, the Torah says v'asu. It uses a plural term. What changed? Why is the Torah using a plural term over here regarding the Aron. So this is a question that Rashi is addressing by telling us the size of the thickness of the Kapeiros. The Rebbe in the footnote points out that we do find that Rashi regarding the Mishkan and the Kalim of the Mishkan tells us many, many details about the size and the dimensions and all the things about the Kalim and the Begadim, even though there's no clear eye in the Pasuk, because Rashi wants to give you the full picture of what they are. So over here as well, the fact that Rashi says the thickness of the Kapeiros is just part of that style of Rashi regarding all the Mishkan and the Kalim. But over here specifically, the Rebbe says, B'derech Agav, Rashi is also answering the Va'asu Loshen Rabim that the Torah writes by the Aron. So the Rebbe elaborates further. Shaharei Muvan, it's understood the Va'asisa, when the Torah always writes the singular term Va'asisa, Eina Kavana Kipshutai, it doesn't literally mean when the Eibush is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, you shall make, Shem Moshe Levada Yiyah B'Payel, that he is the one that builds these Kalim. V'hu Dover Animna, it's impossible. Sheyasas Kol Leilu Amalachas Shenem Ben Vasisa, that Moshe Rabbeinu alone will build all of the Kalim and all of the Mishkan there where the Torah uses the expression Vasisa. V'adarabba, Mefurish Bikra Shenasa Yidei Kol Ish Chacham Leiv Lasas Es Kol Malechas Avedus HaKadosh V'Gomer. The pasuk clearly tells us that Moshe Rabbeinu did not build the Mishkan. It was built through all the wise men that were involved in building the Mishkan. Even more so, Rashi tells us at the end of Parashas Pekudei, Moshe Shum Malacha b'Mishkan. As far as the malachas of building the Mishkan are concerned, Moshe Rabbeinu did not do any of the malachas in the Mishkan. So Mekive and Shesat Tzivoy, the Va'asisa, when the Torah writes and the Eibush is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, Ve'asisa, you should build a Mishkan, Be'roi v'apamim akaponim, Omehen nilmad al kol makim shenem Va'asisa. From this we understand regarding all the places where it says Va'asisa regarding the Mishkan, the pshat is not that Moshe Rabbeinu has the command to alone go ahead and build a Mishkan. He personally will command Klal Yisrael and then those Chachmei Lev that will go ahead and build a Mishkan. That's the meaning of the word Va'asisa. Umatzinu kvar, we already find this concept, Shaloshin al derech Va'asisa, an expression similar to Va'asisa, Masimo gam be'im lo ye'asa adova b'mo yadav mamish. That expression could be used even if you are not the one that's going to be doing it with your own hands. Umochrechu, and we're forced to say this way, b'mashakasa vayihi b'ne'ir. Perish Rashi vayi Kayin b'ne'ir. Kayin built a city. Does the pasuk there mean Kayin himself built the entire city? Impossible. Ela Perish and Nivnal Piv. The pshat of it there is that with his instructions, with his guidance, the city was built with all the workers, construction workers that built the city. Ukamai Kain. So similar over here, Hapirish b'Vasisa, Shiyanas al Piv. The pshat of Vasisa is that Moshe Rabbeinu should command Yidden and should give them the guidance and the directions and the instructions for all the people involved building the Mishkan. So that's the meaning of Vasisa that the Torah writes by all of the Mishkan, all the Kalim, all the Begadim. Okay, if so, why here does the Torah use a plural term that they shall build the Aron? What changed here? So we must say, there's something different about building the Aron, where the Torah uses a plural term. Lahaira is to indicate building of the Aron was not from one individual that did it alone, but it had to be done with many together that participated in building the Aron. Which is not the case regarding the other Kalim of the Mishkan, where the Torah writes Va'asisa, Shepirusha, the meaning of Va'asisa Kail includes Kanal, as we said before, Yachid, Oirabim. The word Va'asisa could mean one individual is building it. Va'asisa could mean Moshe Rabbeinu is commanding and many are building it together. The word Va'asisa does not indicate whether it was many or one. Here, when the Torah changes and specifically writes Va'asu, the Torah is telling us that regarding the Aron, many participated together in building the Aron. What's the reason? Uliyashev al derech hapshat. So according to the simple pshat, what is the difference with the Aron? Hakushia ma nishtana Aron mishara kalim bazeh. Why is the Aron any different than any of the other kalim? So Rashi explains, Rashi has to tell you a detail about the oren which will explain why it's something that's impossible for an individual to handle. Although this is a detail not specified in the Chumash, it only says in Torah Shebal Peh. So Rashi here brings the pshat of Chazal. And Rashi introduces it with a lengthy introduction and says, although the Torah does not give a size, a measurement for the thickness of the kapayres, just like regarding all the other kalim, where no size, no measurement for the thickness was given, kan shani. Over here specifically regarding the kapayres, it's different. Shepirshu, Chazal interpreted this, and the Rebbe's medayik, the word pirshu, v'loy omru, it's not just something that they said, that they had as a tradition, but they actually are interpreting this because you can see it from the pasuk, ki em pirshu Rabbi seinu shoyav yetefach. From the pasuk we can understand that the thickness of the kapeiros was a tefach, which means that there is some implication in the pasuk for this thickness. And what is that? So, move on b'pashtos. It's simply understood. It's impossible for one person to handle gold of such a heavy weight, which is a kapeiros that has the orin, the kapeiros on top of the orin, the gold of the kapeiros, it wasn't just the thickness of the kapeiros itself, which is a tefach, but it's also the kruvim on top of the kapeiros, which were all attached as one piece that had to be made and to come and to protrude out until they formed it into the form of the kruvim above the kapeiros. So to handle such a massive, heavy piece of gold is something that one individual can't do at all. If not having the assistance of another person or other people. So specifically regarding the gold of the kapeiros, which is so heavy and difficult to handle, and creating it, making it, over here the Torah writes for also. That's the pshat pashat b'pashtus, because of the weight of the kapeiros. So that's what Chazal Pirshu, they explained, when you see v'asu, the pshat here is because there's a kapeiros that's very, very difficult to handle. So the Rebbe points out in the Ha'ara, the menorah was also a pretty heavy piece of gold. But over there it was different. Over there that was something that Rashi brings, that Moshe Rabbeinu took it and threw it into a fire, and it was created on its own in the fire, so that's something that's different. But the Rebbe now does address the kroshim. The kroshim were also very, very heavy. Regarding the kroshim, the Torah uses a singular term, Rashi clearly tells us that the kroshim were extremely heavy. None of the Yidden were able to lift these kroshim to put them up when they came to putting up the Mishkan. And Moshe Rabbeinu had to do it. B'derech nes. So if so, the Aron is not the only one which was extremely heavy. What we're talking about over here is about making the Aron and the kapeiros, or making the kroshim, preparing the kroshim. Actually, is mushkiv. The way they prepared the kroshim, it was logs of wood that were lying on the ground. They didn't have to put it up. Which is not the case with the kapeiros that had to be maneuvered when they made it, when they were building the kapeiros, and especially picking it up off the ground and placing it on top of the arein, which is the completion of making the arein, putting the cover on top of the arein. So it's extremely heavy and it's impossible for one person to pick it up, and that had to be done v'asu through many people together. That's why the Torah in Parshas Truma tells us the mitzvah of making the arein v'asu loshen rabim, to make it clear that this arein was an extremely, extremely heavy item, especially the kapeiros with all of the thick gold that it contained in it. So now, coming back to what it says in this week's parsha. Now that we see that the Torah clearly writes v'asu regarding the arein, parsha seinu shevayas betzalel es arein gaime, when it says vayas betzalel that he built the arein, kavanos ebepashasi. So the simple pshat would be l'chayda, seemingly. Shebetzalel ba'atzmai asa esa orain, that he himself built the orain. V'seirer es hakoshia. So the question here is, arei mefurish beparshas Teruma v'asu orain geimer. It says a plural term, shasiyas etiyai de rabim. More than one person has to participate in making the orain. V'ayid ve'ikare i'afshuli asadeh shechad. It's impossible for one person to handle and manage this kapaitis, which was so heavy with so much gold, and build it alone. So you can't touch anymore the pshat over here that Betzalel, the Yas Betzalel, that Betzalel made the Oren alone. How is it possible? So Mefarish Rashi, Yas Betzalel, Huloi Kipshutai. It doesn't mean literally that he made the Oren, including the Kapaitis alone. Ela Lefisha Nosa Nafshel Melechas Oren Ekras Oshmai. Because of the dedication that he had in seeing that the Oren should be made properly, so therefore it's called on his name. But it doesn't literally mean that he built the Oren and the Kapaitis all on his own. Fa'af, ki vadai, also although it's obvious, asher kol chachmei leiv nosnu nafsham ha-melechas ha-mishkan shasuheim, whatever part of the Mishkan that they were working on, they were dedicated, they gave themselves over to that part that they were doing, as the Torah clearly tells us, asher nesoi liboi, that they all did it with their heart to do it and were dedicated to the work that they did. So Rashi lefarish shebetzalel nasa nafshe yisim mishar chachamim. Over here there was an extra dedication. There was something unique about Betzalel paying attention and being dedicated to the Oren, to building the Oren, to see to it that it should be done properly. There was a special dedication, and therefore it's called on his name. However, the question still remains. What was unique about Betzalel? What was special about his dedication? Betzalel was the one that gave the instructions of how to build. He was the one that gave the instructions of all the work that was done in the Mishkan. Everything. He was the one that gave the instructions. So this was a unique talent that he had, that he was able to delegate the work and be on top of everybody, to give everybody the guidance and the instructions for the work that they had to do. In addition to his wisdom that he had, and his talents and his wisdom that he had, but also to be able to see the entire project through, to manage everything, and to be able to give everyone the instructions. So if so, he was involved and was dedicated and had his heart involved in all the Kelim of the Mishkan. He was the project manager of everything. If so, why are we emphasizing Betzalel standing out and being unique specifically regarding the Aron? It's clear that Betzalel was unique not only regarding the Aron, he was unique regarding his involvement as being the project manager of everything that was going on. So there has to be something unique about his dedication and involvement in building the Aron. So therefore Rashi is precise with his wording and tells us that he dedicated himself to the work. Rashi does not use the expression that says in the pasuk asiyah, that he built the Aron. There's a difference between these two expressions of melacha and asiyah. Haggadah shel asiyah says a davar. The expression of asiyah, making something, kail b'mashmusay as kol hapratim she'al yadam nigma v'nishlam adavarahu. It includes everything that's involved in bringing to the completion of making this thing. Hainu, which means la rabbis gam pratim she'enam pu'ulais malachis, including also details that are not just the physical labor of making this thing. Kibitzir of kulam, everything involved are the people that give the instructions, there are people that are mapping out the plans, the blueprints, and then there are people that are doing the actual physical labor, and so on. Everything together, brings to the completion of the project. And the Rabbi brings a source for this from Rashi already in the beginning of the Torah and Parshas Bereishis. Ukipirish Rashi b'Maisa Bereishis, Vayas, Tiknoi, the word Vayas in Maisa Bereishis, Tiknoi alamdoi. The Eibishter created it and brought it up, stood it up in its full position. Or, in another place Rashi says, Tiknam b'tzivyaynam u'b'kaimasam. In its full form and in its full, to be standing fully and completely. So we see that Vayas means that the Eibishter makes it with the fullest extent of everything necessary. So U'b'meila Muvan, Shekenim b'negeya l'asiyas hamishkan. The same is also true using the expression of asiyah regarding building the Mishkan. B'ho'asiyah klula, using the expression of asiyah, this includes it doesn't only refer to the actual work, the physical labor of building the Mishkan. All the other details necessary for building of the Mishkan, to study the details of the Kelim, how it has to be made, and then giving the instructions of exactly how the project is going to be managed and what should be done first, what should be done second, and how it's going to be done. All those details are part of the Vayas, are part of seeing the project through to its completion. So that's the expression of Asiyah, Vayas. But then you have the expression of Melacha. Pirusha, that has a different interpretation. This refers to the actual work, the actual physical labor. The expression of Melechas HaMishkan means ha'avayde v'ha'pu'ula shehoisa b'ha'mishkan, the actual physical work done to build the Mishkan. We can see this also from a Rashi in the beginning of Parshas Vayakhel. What does it say there? Hiktim lahem hazaras Shabbos letzivui Melechas HaMishkan. The Torah first warns to keep Shabbos before it gives the mitzvah of building the Mishkan. To teach you that building the Mishkan does not push off Shabbos. Now, seemingly you may ask, everything that was involved in building the Mishkan does not push off Shabbos? There should be certain parts of this that should be allowed in Shabbos. Studying the halachas of the details of how the kelim have to be made, learning it, or giving the instructions. Those are things that are not actual physical labor. They're not any of the lamates malachas that may not be done on Shabbos. So that's a part of the project that could be done on Shabbos. Ella, so the answer is obvious. The zeo diak Rashi, letzivui melechas hamishkan. The malachas, the actual work of building the Mishkan, the malacha aspect, which is the physical labor, habalacha b'poyel, that may not be done on Shabbos. And that's what the Torah says, Shabbos before Melachis HaMishkan. So we have the difference between Asiyah and Melacha. So this also brings us back to the dedication of Betzalel for the Aron. His special dedication towards building the Aron. His involvement was with the actual physical building of the Aron. With the actual physical building of the Aron. Which was not the case with the other Kalim of the Mishkan. He was the project manager of the entire Mishkan, and he was involved in everything. That was the unique talent of Betzalel, one of his unique talents, that he was able to be involved in the entire project all at the same time and give everybody the proper instructions and guidance that they needed. But as far as the physical work is concerned, regarding all the other Kalim, he didn't have that kind of involvement. When it came to the Aron, there was an additional involvement with the physical work that he dedicated himself to this more than the rest of the Mishkan, and therefore it's called on his name. Now the Rebbe continues and says, let's take a look at this Rashi and see in a deeper level, al pi Chassidus, what Betzalel's involvement was. We're talking over here about the dedication of Betzalel. Al pi Chassidus, what is this referring to? It's not referring only to any of his talents, to his wisdom, to being a great project manager. We're talking about building a Mishkan, a home for the Eibishter. So we're talking about Betzalel's dedication of his neshama, of his Mesiras Nefesh, that he dedicates his neshama to this building. The potential, the power of Mesiras Nefesh that every Yid has, is above any of the rest of the keiches of the person. Heina makifim v'heina pnimiyim. Whether the makif de keiches, which refers usually to rotzen and taina, the willpower of a person, the deep pleasure a person has, and the koiches pnimiyim, which is the seichel, his intellect, the emotions. Mesiras nefesh is beyond that. Mesiras nefesh is the essence of the soul, which is dedicated to the Eibishter. Omnam, tachlis hakavanehi. What is the purpose of that koyach, of the essence of the soul that the neshama has? Shekoyach ha-mesiras nefesh yachder toich kol koiches adam. That essential power of mesiras nefesh should penetrate all the koiches of the person. It should influence and elevate the entire being of the person. Ad lekoyach achi tachten. It should also influence even his activity, the lowest koyach of the person, koyach ha-maisa. Shegam ha-asiyas v'apolus shaloi tiyene masimas l'tnuas ha-mesiras nefesh shaloi. Even his physical actions, which is very removed, you would think, from the essence of the soul, but the essence of the soul is so powerful that it spills over and it influences even the physical activity of a person. And this is hinted here in Rashi's words when he tells us about the dedication and the self-sacrifice of Betzalel when it came to building the Aron. And the Rashi's words are Fishel nafshoy ala meloche, that he had his dedication, the Mesiras Nefesh was regarding the actual physical work. Kanal, as we emphasized before, Malacha does not just refer to being a project manager, but it refers to the actual, tangible, physical work. As I say, meres. So on a ruchniziga levels, what this means is, Mesiras Nefesh shaloi, the essence of Mesiras Nefesh that Betzalel had, Nimshacha b'chol ha-kayches, was drawn down, came and influenced all and elevated all of his kayches ad l'koyach ha-asiyah shaloi. It even had an impact on his physical actions. Shegam b'ha-melacha ha-yenikir shenasa nafshe. Even in the physical action, it wasn't disconnected of the soul, of the Mesiras Nefesh, but even in the physical labor, in the zrizos and in the involvement and in the movements of his physical labor, had the attitude and the influence of Mesiras Nefesh. That's the remez of putting together Nasa Nafshoy, Mesiras Nefesh, ala Melacha, infused into the physical labor that he's doing. The Rabbi continues further to touch here the words of Rashi. Now through this, it's not only the activity is done differently because it's being overwhelmed by this great power of Mesiras Nefesh that spills over into the entire entity of the person, including his activities. Each one of the specific kayches a person has, with their whatever properties they have. Intellect is intellect, emotions are emotions, actions are actions. Each particular kaych in its place, kifi sheheim kayches pratiyim, as they are with their individual nature. Betchunois pratiyis, mis'alam al yidei zeh l'dargan eilis yaser, function on a completely different eifin. The seichel of a person, when it's influenced by Mesiras Nefesh, it's not only that it has the energy of Mesiras Nefesh that's there, that's pushing it, that's overwhelming, so to speak, the intellect of the person to be on a higher level. The actual koyach of Mesiras Nefesh influences the thinking of the person, the very thinking of the person, the very perspective, the very ability to innovate and come up with ideas is transformed and elevated to a completely different level through the koyach of Mesiras Nefesh. That's just as one example. When you get to Seichel, the same when you get to all the other kayches, that the Mesiras Nefesh doesn't just overwhelm all the kayches of the person, that you sense the energy of Mesiras Nefesh in everything you do, but it actually transforms the functionality of each particular kayach, that it should be on a completely different level. And this detail as well, we could see also in the words of Rashi, that his dedication, Rashi says, was Yoser Mishar Chachamim, more than all of the other Chachamim. What does this mean? Through Betzalel's Mesiras Nefesh, it brought an advantage, an elevation in the function of all of the kayches, ad l'kayach achi tachten, achi elyon, ad l'kayach achi elyon, including it had an influence even on the highest kayach of the person, kayach hachachmeh, Shehu, the very koyach of intellect itself, is b'pchinas yoser mikvi shehi mitzad atzmai. The actual koyach of chachma, the koyach to innovate, the power to think and innovate, was expanded and broadened by the koyach of Mesiras Nefesh that enters and affects the actual intellect itself. In contrast to the other chachamim that did not have that same kind of Mesiris Nefesh. So this is an additional aspect of the influence of the Mesiris Nefesh to actually transform the very kayches itself, including even the highest kayach of Chachma. As also understood of the expression that's brought in Chassidus, Ein Chacham Kebal Hanisayin. There is nobody that's as wise as the individual that's taking his wisdom from actual experience. That's the simple pshat of the statement. So the Rebbe teaches here what this means regarding Mesiris Nefesh. Shal Yidei Shal Mesiris Nefesh Ba B'Nisayin, when the Mesiris Nefesh, the potential of the essence of the soul, the power of Mesiris Nefesh is put into practice, Hainu B'Maisa B'Payel, it comes down and influences in the action B'Payel, Nitaisef B'Chachma Shalai. That actually adds and elevates and transforms the Chachma. The Chacham, Ein Chacham Kebal Nisayin, Ad She'en Chacham Kamayu, the actual wisdom, his actual power to innovate and understand with intellect becomes elevated and transformed to a completely different level. This is a Meir de Gechidish in the power of Mesiris Nefesh. We can understand the Kayach of Mesiris Nefesh, that it has a Kayach to the Kayach of Mesiris Nefesh is bleak vol, and once it comes out, it spills over and it enters and overwhelms every area of the person's life, which is being influenced by the Kayach of Mesiris Nefesh and everything that he's doing. But the fact that Mesiris Nefesh penetrates within the Kayches, to actually elevate and transform the kayches themselves, that's a unique chiddush here that Rashi is telling us by Betzalel. Messiah Rashi, and then Rashi concludes and says, Nikras al Shmai, that the Aroin is called on his name. What does this mean? Al Pichsidis, the pshat is as follows: Shakol Zenase, all this is accomplished. The Fishel Yidei Mesiris Nefesh, Mamshichim. Through Mesiris Nefesh, you draw down, which is what Nikras means, to call and to draw. B'chinas HaKesesh Nikras Shmoi. You draw down the level of Keser, which is referred to as Shmoi, the Eibishter's name. Shehi Al, which is above, L'mayla Mekol HaSfiris. It's higher than all the other Sfiris, Upayalas Behem. And when it's revealed, and when it's called, and when it's drawn down, it affects and elevates all the Sfiris. So therefore, so too regarding the nefesh of the person, when you call out and you reveal the kayach of Mesiris Nefesh, it elevates and transforms all of the kayachas of the person. The kayachas of a person below evolve and come from the Sfiris Lamayla. This unique power of Mesiris Nefesh and the way he was able to bring down and express the kayach of Mesiris Nefesh to influence all of his kayches. Bala Betzalel b'Yerusha ma'avi Aviv Chor. He gets this as an inheritance of his grandfather Chor. Shemasa nafshel imnoya chet ha'egel. Chor tried to prevent Yidden of sitting at the chet ha'egel, and he gave up his life. They killed him, trying to prevent the chet ha'egel of taking place. Shohei pechin yonish ala mishkan. The egel was they wanted to create a place of avodah zarah, to separate the Eibishter from there, which is the opposite of what the Mishkan is all about, to create a dwelling for the Eibishter. The whole command of the Mishkan is for the purpose that the Eibishter forgave Yidden for the act of the Egel, and the Eibishter comes to dwell amongst Yidden. Meaning, Chor gave over his life, he physically gave over, he died, for the purpose of bringing the dwelling of the Shechina here below. So Ben Benoi Betzalel, his grandson as well, Betzalel Masa Nafsha Melechus Ha'aron, expressed a tremendous dedication to the point of self-sacrifice for building the Mishkan, and specifically the Aron. In the Aron is the main place we have the primary dwelling of the Eibishter in the Aron, which is what we learned already in Parshas Truma, and also the opinion of the Ramban that makes it very clear that the main dwelling of the Eibishter is in the Aron. The point that we said before, that Betzalel is able to take the essence of the Neshama, the Kayach of Mesiris Nefesh, and combine that and infuse that into the other Kayachas of the person, into the place which is outside of the essence, and to bring the two opposites together. So Gam B'Shem Betzalel, you see this hinted in his name, Betzalel, B'Shem Aviv, B'Shem Aviyav, and in the name of his father and the name of his grandfather. Betzalel ben Uri ben Chor. And here the Rebbe quotes as follows: what is the significance of each one of these names? Uri, it was Maloshin Oir, light, the revelation of Elokos. Shuriyim B'china Zah, this is the level of Zah which is above the existence of the worlds. The worlds come from Malchus. Zah is a light, a revelation that's above that. Oir Chachma, or even higher than that, Oir refers to the revelation, the spark of revelation that there is in Chachma, and the spark of the idea, the very first of all the spheres, Reishis das Spheres. That's Uri. Chor, on the other hand, Humaloshin Nekev. Chor, also in Hebrew, means a hole. This refers to the level of Nekeva, the feminine. What is the feminine of the Spheres? Spheres HaMalchus. It refers to Spheres HaMalchus, the last of all the Spheres. Sefer the Chol Dargan. So those are the two names, Uri and Chur. Betzalel, Hu Inyan Betzeil Keil, the shadow of Hashem. What does this mean? This hints to a level that's both above Uri and above Chur. Why is this? Ki Keil Chesed. First, in the simple pshat, Keil refers to Chesed, which is Tchila Zah, the beginning of Zah, the beginning of that section of the Spheres, and it's Yoime, the Ozel im Kuli Yoimen. Zah has the influence of Chesed in all of the days, which refers to all of the 7 Spheres. Chesed is the essence of all 7 Spheres. The idea of Chesed is the recognition of an other, the kindness to share with an other. That essence, that there's an other that I'm relating to, is really the essence of all of the 7 Spheres that follow. So that's the Shem Keil here. Or really, Keil in the name Betzalel is much higher than that. Malchus, higher than Zah and higher than Malchus. Mimidois, Mikolas Spheres, higher than any other Midas, higher than any other 10 Spheres. Sharehu Shahu, Shem Harishan should be Yud Gimel Midas Arachamim. Keil is the first of the Yud Gimel Midas Arachamim, and being the first, it's the highest, completely removed of any of the other Spheres. The Kol Sheken, and even more so, Shetzel Keil, the shadow of Keil. Shehu makif v'hatzel shel shem keil. A tzel, a shadow, shows us something that's around and hovering and even higher. So therefore, tzel keil shows an even higher level. L'mayla mikolanal. So the level of Betzalel himself is completely higher, removed of the two levels of Uri and Chur. So therefore, mechovin le'inyan anal. So all of this takes us back to the point that we said before. Shekayach hamesiris nefesh shaloi. Kayach HaMesiris Nefesh, the Kayach HaMesiris Nefesh of Betzalel, Hu Lamaylo Mikol HaKayches Makifim Upnimiyim, is above any of the other Kayches so that the person has, whether Makifim or Pnimiyim, which could be also Zah and Malchus. Zah is the higher Kayches, and Malchus is the lower Kayches, in relation to the existence of the world. Malchus is Memal Kalaman, that Kayach, an energy of Hashem that enters into the world, and Zah is above, is removed of the existence of the world. In contrast to Malchus, Zah is Makif. So Betzalel is above both Zah and Malchus. Betzel Keil, the shadow of the level of Keil, of Yud Gimel Midas Arachamim, is above both of them. And that's the essence of Mesiris Nefesh. And Vahu Mamshech, Mibchina Shalamayla V'kol HaSfiris, he draws down from the very essence above, and he brings it down into the levels of Zah and then Malchus to bring them both together, that the essence of the Mesiris Nefesh should influence both together. The Rebbe continues in Sivav to explain another unique detail we find regarding Betzalel's building of the Mishkan. With this, we can also understand the reason Moshe tziva leBetzalel. So we see that when Moshe came and commanded Betzalel to build the Mishkans, what did he tell him? Last is Tchila Kelim v'achakach Mishkan. You look in Parshas Truma, first the Torah tells us the Kelim, and then the Torah tells us about the actual structure of the walls and the yiriyos of the Mishkan itself. That was the way Moshe presents it. But a Betzalel, the Gemara says, Betzalel turned to Moshe Rabbeinu and says, wait a minute, this is not the derech. You don't build the furniture of the house before you build the house itself. So first we should build the Mishkan, and then the furniture, and then the kelim that come into the house. And that's what Betzalel actually did, as it says in Parshas Vayakhel and Pekudei. Asa ha-Mishkan tchila, v'achakach asa ha-kelim. First he built the Mishkan, the walls and the yiriyos of the Mishkan, and only afterwards did he build the Mishkan. The kelim, that is. So what's the difference in the order? What comes first? The actual house, or the kelim, the furniture, there's individual kelim inside? The level of Betzalel, he's rooted in the very essence of the Yud Gimel Midas HaRachamim, or in Keser, the deepest place. That's where the Shayrish of Betzalel comes from. And that's the energy that he uses to build the Mishkan. V'sham, over there, it's the other way around than it is below once it comes out. Harei ha'pnimiyim mushrashim yoser. The level of the Keiches Pnimiyim, or the Kalim. So you have two parts here. You have the Kalim, which are the individual vessels, which have an individual function. The Shulchan has its function, the Menorah, the Mizbeach, even the Aron is a specific Keli, although it's the central Keli in the Beis HaMikdash. And then you have the house that surrounds everything, the walls and the roof, the Yiriyos. So they both represent two different aspects to the existence of the Mishkan. There's the drawing down, the general energy, the makiv darga volokos through the structure of the Mishkan. And then there's the individual avodah that was done with each individual keli, and that draws down. So when it comes to the essence, once you're connected to the very essence, the individual avodah that's done here below in an individual keli is rooted deeper and draws down a greater and deeper energy even than the makif of the rest of the Mishkan. So Betzalel, his neshama was rooted in such a high place, so he saw and realized he has that connection to that place where the pnimiyim, the individual kelim, the individual avodah done with each keli has a deeper kayach. So therefore when Chelek came, and he told Betzalel to build a Mishkan, what was his plan? First build the Kalim. That's the final purpose. The main purpose here is the actual Aveda that's done with the Kalim, and that Aveda that's done Lamata has a greater energy. More than the walls or the roof that may be surrounding and hovering, but the actual Aveda done with the Kalim is deeper. So that should be done first. That's the whole Kavanah. First Aveda, prepare the kalim for the avodah done with those kalim, and then afterwards the mishkan, the structure of the whole house, which is makif. That's the way Moshe presented it to Betzalel, because he knew Betzalel's energy. However, Betzalel Omar, what was Betzalel's response? Although this is his level and this is his attitude that he brought his Mesiras Nefesh to build the Mishkan, however, until you come and reveal this level, there are stages to come and reveal this. There are stages how you go through this. To come, to bring and to express that essence of Mesiras Nefesh and infuse it in the entire Mishkan, you have to start from below. You go from level to level. So he began the way the Seder is here below, which is with the Mishkan first, the Makifim first, when it comes to a person's Aveda, first comes the makif, where a person has to establish the makif. For example, like in the morning, a person starts with the maidani, the makif, the general thanks and admittance to the Eibishter. You start with a makif. Once you reveal your neshama, then you're able to bring that influence into the pnimi as well, into the individual specific avodah that's done with the individual kalim, or benegayat to a person's schedule in the day, the specific avodah that's done in one specific area, and then once that avodah is done with that specific area, so then that actually has a deeper kayach. That actually reveals the deeper, because that's the final purpose. And because that's the final purpose, it reveals the real shayrish makir, that the pnimiyim are even higher than the makif, and it connects to the very essence of Mesiras Nefesh that gets expressed in a detail that a person does. So Betzalel said there's a seder of how things are done. And we're going to go through that seder, and then we're going to reveal the deepest kayach of Mesiras Nefesh, the way it's rooted in the essence that's expressed in the details of the Mishkan.